Vitek here from Wani, and with us today we have a very special friend, Einar of WARDRUNA. How are you doing, brother?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
And you must be super stoked to see the response you're getting so far, for the album Ragnarok. It's been more than a week now since the album came out on October 21st. So how's been the response from the fans so far?
It's been, from what I've seen, it's been amazing. And today we even got the message that the album is number one on the North American Billboard.
Wow!
In the world music category. So that is in itself a very clear statement from the audience that there are a lot of people who like it, and that of course makes me very proud. And happy.
Absolutely, that's
been a lot of work.
Indeed, it's been a lot of work. It's like the final part of the trilogy, and here you are, dwelling deeper into the, feels like a forgotten tribal soul. You're bringing in that richer texture and that cinematic feeling, which is even more as compared to the first two parts. A stunning piece. I know you've been living with it for a while now. What's your take on this, on the music, on the third part?
As you say, it's richer. I personally, I think it's a much more complete album than the two first one. But still, it sort of encompasses elements from both the first albums. It has the drony, monotonous songs, but it also encompasses the melodic aspects from the last album, but takes it a step further even. And of course, this is a process of, when I started working with WARDRUNA and all of these ancient instruments, I had never done it before. I had never even produced any music before myself. So it's been a long process of learning a lot, learning about the instruments, learning about the material, and so I feel that I could make this album with perhaps more experience and more confidence, perhaps even. All in all, I'm very proud of the album. I'm very. It's been a almost 15-year long process of making this whole trilogy. So of course I'm very proud and proud of how it all turned out and the continuation of things.
Absolutely. It's really good to hear because this album is like a journey. I mean, you have songs like Odal or Urur, and even the middle section of the album, by this point, as I was listening to it, it kind of felt like the spiritual meeting with more like a shaman. It's like something is happening. The tribes are gathering, the stars are bright, the moon is high, and the singers are all there loud and long. And the richness and the depth of this album is really impressive. And, it feels like you're dwelling into an ancient soul. That's sort of a perfect theme. So how important is it for you to write something which, not only touches the human soul to a much deeper extent that probably hardly any band can do in heavy metal right now?
It goes back to, for me, it's very important that what you put in. The music is of course important, but I think it's equally important what you put into the music.
True.
The thoughts behind, the spirit behind, and the purpose behind. Because there are very few things on this planet that have such a strong ability to carry meaning, such as music has. And the importance music have had in religious ceremonies and in society overall for thousands of years. It's sort of it's very much forgotten today in music.
Right.
You see it like even in world music, musica mundane, where this was actually very, very important. It used to be, and you see it in metal as well. And you see elements of it in early black metal, where the spirit behind is more important than how fast you play or how good your guitar sounds.
Right.
The techniques have taken over. You see it in world music, where it's basically jazz musicians and maybe some folk elements or indigenous elements here and there, but basically jazz with some indigenous elements. So I these things are definitely important to me because to make this sacred space where there is room for the listener as well. I try to always leave room for the listener, for them to have their own
interpretation.
Yeah, because it's for me, even though I put it in this whole Norse rapping, I think the subjects I'm singing about and a lot of the musical techniques as well they are universal. And that is why I also think that people from all over the world, from all sorts of different cultures, relate to the music so strongly as well. It is universal, these themes, if you go far enough back in time, at least.
Absolutely. In fact, you're talking about, the symbolism in this music is of similar gravitas to probably my own religious customs that I've grown up being in India. So so it's two different worlds we have here, but we have the common root to which we belong to is the sort of connection we have with the spiritual side of this.
Yeah, and for me the music is very much about nature. It's about human nature or our relation to nature, but of course also about nature itself. So definitely, I hear what you're saying, and I agree.
Right, and you guys, especially you, have been largely responsible for the rise in the interest of the old Norse tradition, the faith. It's not just in Norway, but also, I talk to my friends in States, I talk to my friends in UK, in Australia. I'd like to hear your thought about, possibly being responsible for leading so many people back to the old Norse ways and the customs, and I'm sure that's something which you're really proud of.
Well, it is fascinating, but for me, what is important about these things is because I don't think your roots are necessarily important just because they are your roots. I think that it is it is important to and these things need to carry relevance to sort of have the right to live. And that is something that is very important to me in my music. It is about highlighting because there are a lot of things from the past that we need today, basically.
Right.
We should remember these things. No matter if it's from the Norse culture or from some other nature-based culture, we need to remember some of these things. If people can find inspiration for seeking those things, that is of course something that I'm very proud of and glad to hear.
Indeed,
I get a lot of emails every day from people who are sharing stories that and just give thanks My point is that I'm very overwhelmed by the response.
Absolutely.
And glad to hear that it resonates.
Indeed, it does. Your music has such a profound effect on the heathens. I mean, it's like you bring them a great understanding of the runes, the great understanding of the energies they possess, and bring them much closer to this entire process. So, and you get these emails, like you said. So it's wonderful.
Yeah. Well, actually, I hope I give them some questions, because that is what people need. They need questions.
True.
So they can chase. I think it's very important to not serve any truth or claiming any truth or serving these things on silver platters. So it's more about hinting and sort of throwing. Throwing ideas or thoughts that can perhaps inspire and make people chase these answers.
Absolutely.
Because you need to find them yourself.
Indeed, you surely have to do that. And now that you're done with the runes, and how, what's the next plan which is going to be? I'm sure you'd like to take some time, develop some ideas, and obviously be in your own world to write about something. So have you kind of put any sort of a picture of what the next project is going to be, or maybe an album of saga or something?
What I can say is it's a bit too early to say exactly what the next thing will be.
Sure.
But what I can say is that there are a lot of things I want to do and have sort of planned for a long time that I want to do at some point when I'm done with the trilogy. So now I'm here, and so it's basically a bit too early to say. But what I can say is that there are a lot of things I want to do, both in the saga material and the poetic material, but also other things. Like I said, it's also very much about nature.
True. And it's diverse.
Of course, all the myths are in many ways just images themselves of different aspects of nature and human nature and cycles and stuff like that. That's what the myths are describing, and the gods even are these images of nature in different states. Same with runes. They also sort of have this. They also carry within them these different aspects of life and the world.
Absolutely. With the changing, the face of music that you've seen happening over the years, have you ever been tempted to kind of collaborate with an artist from, let's say, some other genre where probably, you may not have the common artistic influences, but still, try to work on something together, like how Anya does, which she has some Celtic influences. So is there something you've ever thought of kind of crossing a boundary by working with an artist outside your area of expertise?
I think it's. I think that sometimes I do collaborate, and I might also do that sometime in the future if it's the right thing, right project or thing comes up. But for me, when doing a collaboration, for me it's very much about the music. Not if it's good or bad, or if it's somebody famous or not non-famous. That to be honest, that doesn't really matter to me. For me, it's about whether or not I can hear myself within the music or not. Can I do a good job here? Does this resonate with me somehow? it can be many different levels, but yeah, I'm always open, but I get a lot of questions about collaborating, but most of the time I say no and focus on my own stuff. But for sure, the future can hold so many different things. So
True.
I don't know. Yeah.
Absolutely. You're taking this album on road, and you'll be coming to Tilburg as well, where we would be catching you live. So, it's an experience. It's not the regular concert. It's like an experience which have left your fans right in the front row in tears. So I'm sure you would be stoked to take this album live, for the fans.
Yeah. What was your question? I'm sorry, I didn't catch you.
Yeah, but the album which you're going on tour, you'll be playing in a couple of cities here and there. So you'll be taking this album with you. So I'm sure it's an experience which it's not like a regular concert. It's like a inner experience with you on stage and the music that's doing the talking.
Yeah, definitely. I think that performing live is very much about communicating. So every room is different. Every audience is different.
True.
So each concert becomes a unique experience, even though you play the same
songs.
The same songs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very very much looking forward to it. It's now the whole trilogy is complete. So we're actually able to somewhat tell the whole story. The Runaljod with the first part about sowing seeds and second one about making it grow and the third one now about transformation and the death and rebirth. Sort of basically we just start over again.
Awesome. That's really good to hear. That's good to hear, Einar. So, if you had to sum up the album in just a sentence, Runaljod, Ragnarok, in just one sentence, what would you say?
One sentence. I would say it's about what rises from the ashes.
What rises from the ashes. Perfect. Thank you so much, Einar. Been an honor having a chat with you. I've never had a chance to see you live because I live in India, but I'm sure one day in Europe I will get to see you live.
Yeah, well, who knows? Maybe we come to India.
Come to India, yeah. That is also a possibility. Thanks, man. Thanks so much for spending some time. Have a wonderful day ahead.
Likewise.
Bye-bye.
Bye.